welcome back to Cinema Vino.
Hey.
Good to have you guys back. We are kicking off our...
It's your boy, Todd Wofford.
Oh, yeah.
It's your boy.
Introductions. Sean Jordan.
Hi.
Travis Budd.
Hey.
My name's Todd. We're kicking off our Back in Time series. We're going to go back and look at comedies that were released at 10-year intervals. So we're going to start in 2004 with Napoleon Dynamite.
Back in time.
Which was released 20 years ago.
Lick it.
This year. And see, thank God now we have video so that the listeners can now differentiate what Travis is talking about there.
That's right.
So
Lick it.
so, some of the mystery has been solved.
How often do I tell people to lick stuff?
Do you want to lick it?
A little too often.
Did you lick it?
Yeah.
I'll lick it.
I mean, I won't say that you do it all the time, but you issue that command more often.
More
Probably
often
should.
than anybody else on this podcast.
People would just listen to me when I say it the first time. I don't like to repeat myself.
Yeah. People would just kind of jump to you and have to say it so often.
Yeah.
So
I'm always right.
You know what they say? Lick it the first time.
Mm-hmm. Lick twice, cut once.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lick twice, blow once.
That was our problem.
Tootsie Pop Owl? Is that what the Tootsie Pop Owl said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And among other things.
Yeah, that was the original draft before it got censored.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so Napoleon Dynamite was released.
Well, what are we drinking?
You're right. We're drinking the Paul Dolan Cabernet from the Mendocino Vineyards. So this is just northwest of San Francisco. So this is Northern California.
You didn't get us an Idaho wine?
No, but actually, this is as close in California as you're probably going to get to Idaho. This is not too far from the Forest Moon of Endor. This is way up there.
It's good stuff. And Napoleon Dynamite's kind of a weird, quirky, like self-contained universe.
Once again, Travis is cribbing my notes for his own gain. But we'll talk about that. I think that's about. Do you agree with that? Again, we'll go back to your original.
I read it. I didn't.
Did you also did you cheat on your school papers and just take lines directly off the Wikipedia?
Oh no, I cheated in algebra and I still failed. 13.5% on this little guy.
Yeah,
I haven't
spicy and it's organic.
Proper.
Ooh.
So for this series, we're looking at wines that will age. And so just a few factoids about that.
I like this.
Most people, it's a good
jammy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the word?
It's got some good fruit.
Does that fit?
It's got some good fruit.
Fuck, I got it right.
So most people, and again, I learned this in my experience working at the wine store, they operate under the misconception that all wines can age, that if you put them aside, they will actually all improve, which is not true.
I mean, all wines can age.
They can age.
They don't get better with it.
Yes, they don't improve.
Is it, again, I worked at a liquor store for 10 years. I know nothing. Primarily, reds age better than whites?
As a rule.
Is that? Okay.
But I would put it this way. If you walked into the store we worked at, which had tens of thousands of different wines, if you walked into that store and you threw a dart, you're going to hit something that's not meant to age.
Okay.
Overwhelmingly, most wines don't age. Almost all white wines are meant to be drank either now or very soon.
Within 2 or 3 years.
Within, at the most, yeah.
Yeah.
Some white wines, you don't even want to wait that long.
Yeah.
They will start to go bad.
Yeah, like a Vino Verde you want to drink immediately. It's
Yeah.
year of.
To get a white wine that will actually not necessarily improve with age, but will hold up with age, you have to spend some serious money.
Yeah.
You have to get a French Montrachet. You have to get something that's expensive, or a vintage champagne.
Champagne is definitely the exception.
Yeah, like a vintage champagne. Even the regular non-vintage stuff, you want to drink that in the short term.
Yeah.
To get a red wine that will age, again, you're more likely to get a red wine, you have to spend some cash. So this is about a $25 Cabernet, and that's kind of the entry level that you could age.
That's the floor.
Yeah. To where it's even worth it. This will improve for the next 4 or 5 years.
Ooh.
So, I mean...
And keep in mind, you also have to store it right if you want it to age.
Yeah.
Well.
So, then, store it on its side, keep the cork wet, unless you're going to have sparkling, in which case you want to keep it upright, keep the cork dry.
Right.
So, cool, dark place.
Now, I
listen
to Todd with a grain of salt sometimes on aging, because I would leave a thing of wine at his house for a week and then come back to drink the rest of it. And he would oh, baby, that was bad. It was turned vinegar. I was like, what? No. Todd, I have a dog. He was like, no, I couldn't let you do that. I was like, no.
Palate's a good band name.
That'd be a great band name.
They cover their audience in just absolute filth.
Like Guar?
Guar.
They kind of...
dirtier.
Yeah. Sexy.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to burp that kefir. I'm just going to say.
And the
Incidentally, you're going to want to burp that.
the audience has no context for what Travis just said. I'm going to leave it there. So there you go.
Thanks.
Y'all just solve that mystery on your own. Talk amongst yourselves. But so yeah, this wine, you'd want to drink it probably 20-30. Some little tips for when a wine starts to turn, and wine will turn. It will go bad.
2030, that's 6.
Yeah, so like a wine will age and then peak.
Yeah,
right? And a sharp decline.
Most wines will slowly start to decay. The best way to determine that is that you will want to see like kind of a brick brown color, like a brick red color. That's a sign that your wine's going downhill. It'll also get kind of a watery layer on top, like a clear water layer.
Oh, okay.
So it will start to, and then of course it'll start to taste flat, like a pop that's gone flat, like a soda.
Yeah,
So if I'm just
viewer, we got some weather coming in, so it's if we're looking
I'm
around,
pretty sure that
that's
was a
why.
car backfire.
Oh well, I'm also sleeping on your couch tonight. I just
That's fine.
let you know.
fine.
What's for breakfast?
We usually do French toast on Sundays.
You're gonna want to burp that kefir.
But what's the protein? Are we looking at sausage, bacon?
Oh, I'll give you protein, baby.
Get some eggs.
Oh yeah, I'll do some eggs.
And get some legs.
Yeah.
Just French toast?
French toast is like dredged in egg.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
okay.
it. But I need
Anything else is superfluous.
That would be a good password in a spy novel.
Dredged in egg.
French toast is dredged in egg. It's a cold day for pontooning.
So on aging, so if I'm looking at a bottle that's full of wine and it's on its side and I'm turning it, every 6 months or what have you, what do I want to look out for like signs of bad aging?
And there's not much you can do in that situation when you're looking into the bottle, especially like stuff like this where it's pretty obscure. You might look for some sediment and stuff like that, and you may see a lot of that, like too much of that in a wine that's not doing well. But unfortunately, the best way is to try it. Like a guy we used to work with at the store, he had a policy, and of course, he had he was independently wealthy, so he could do this. He would pick out a wine, and of course, he would buy $80, $90, $100, $200 bottles, but he would buy them in threes. And he would buy one to drink right now, and he would buy one to drink in the short term for aging, like say 6 months, a year, 2 years. And then he would buy one to sell her for long term. And so he would check in on it after a while and see how it was holding up.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, if you have the money to do that, it's great. If you don't,
So for most like entry level wine people, would you recommend even trying to age a bottle, or just like go for stuff that you can drink pretty short term?
By and large, and this isn't necessarily like a knock on people who don't know wine. I would say buy it to drink it because you can't take it with you, and it's a gamble. It really is that a certain percentage of wine is corked or bad even before you get it home. Before you buy it at the store, it's bad. So, it's like there's a not small chance that the wine's going to be spoiled before you even set it down to age it. So, by and large, I would say enjoy your wine now.
Yeah, I would say if you're entry level, like depending on how entry level you are, is to try as many varietals as you can and see which ones, which one is your wheelhouse, right? And then in that like bracket, like try a bunch more and just see if that was an outlier and just a good wine that you liked, or if you like all the ones in that.
And I would also add that like there are certain wines that if you bought it now, you shouldn't drink it now. Like a first girth Bordeaux.
First girth.
A first girth, which, was my nickname in high
First
school.
girth Bordeaux.
Yeah.
That's stage name.
That's how the one Muppet would say the first girth Bordeaux.
First girth Bordeaux.
If you're buying a first growth Bordeaux, those wines, like a good year for that is not ready yet. Like if you bought, like say, a 2020, it's not ready to drink right now, and it won't be for a while. It'll be.
But like, what's the price point on a bottle like that?
To get something that's age worthy, more than likely you're talking a minimum of
50, 60.
50, 60, but you could easily spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. If you buy a Rothschild, you're spending thousands of dollars.
I'm not buying a child, Todd.
You would want that to sit for years and years and years. So you would buy that specifically as an investment to age. So, but those kind of wines are the exception. And if you bought a wine, like for example, a vintage champagne for your anniversary or something, you could age that. And that would be something you could open in 5 years or 10 years. In fact, we had a lot of people who would do that, a lot of customers who would buy Dom Perignon 1996.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, I'm going to buy the Dom Perignon of my wedding year, 5-year anniversary. We'll open it.
And then you could drink it in 20 years and it'd still be good. So, there you go.
Bubbles taste so tiny.
I'm not going to do that.
And Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
So speaking of uncles, let's talk about Napoleon Dynamite.
A quirky, self-contained universe.
So just to clarify here, so what we're doing a retrospective on comedies on 10-year intervals starting 20 years ago. Right. So 20 year, 30 year, 40 year, 50 year.
Yeah, going back to 64, so 60 years.
Ooh.
Going all the way back to Dr. Strangelove.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or How I Stopped Worrying and Learned to Love the Bomb.
So, this was released under MTV Pictures. This was written by the husband and wife team of Jared and Jerusha Hess. This is based on Jared's experiences growing up in Idaho. This grossed $46 million against a budget of $400,000. This was an enormous hit.
That's a big 400,000.
Yeah, this was this big return on that investment.
Hell yeah.
This became for its, as much as put into it, it became a cultural phenomenon. This was quoted widely, inspired a lot of merchandise, such as Vote for Pedro t-shirts, which were everywhere.
I had one.
Yeah, I mean, we all did.
It got snug after one wash.
Yeah, those shirts were not made with top-notch quality.
Yeah.
I think everyone had the exact same shirt. It was terrible.
Well, white with red letters, is that right?
Yeah, it was like the collared tee. Yeah.
Thrift store kind of chic.
Like vintage 80s t-shirt.
Yeah, after that I learned I couldn't get like a white shirt that I then had to wash because like immediately like my nipples were very prominent. So I needed like a darker shirt.
That's how I prefer your nipples, is to be
Prominent?
there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this wasn't 2018. I couldn't do that. It wasn't cool to do it then.
Nips weren't cool back then,
Yeah,
Todd.
It was. If this
Which was rough
2018
because the
or
white
on,
t-shirt was in fashion.
That's true.
Tough era for us nipple boys.
Yeah.
Big Ariel is giant.
So this was
Teacup saucers.
so what the hell? Okay, so
Nipping ain't easy, you know?
A quirky, self-contained universe.
Jesus Christ. So
400,000, you say?
yeah, 400 clams. So, like the films of Wes Anderson, Napoleon Dynamite takes place in its own weird self-contained universe.
Travis, you said that.
Yeah, Travis beat me to that one. And I would say, and see what you guys think about this, that the characters in this movie seem to be on their own like level within the movie. They're on their own in their own planet on this weird.
They don't exist within the plane of existence that we exist. They're just sort of like their own little
We don't know what year this takes
corner
place.
of
Yeah.
Idaho.
It's after 82. That's all we know. And that Uncle Rico is probably 20 years past that. So.
Yeah.
I think we could probably do like a little dissertation. We'll dive in, figure out what year it is. They have the internet,
Jamiroquai.
right?
Yeah.
They have the internet. They have Jamiroquai.
They have
That's
like
about it.
online chat rooms.
And I
Don't really have cell phones.
I would prefer it if you didn't explain why you just said Jamiroquai and just left it
Leave it at that.
right there.
Jamiroquai.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Like the timing, the setting for this movie. Again, very odd. It almost seems like this town is out in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around it. Like there's almost like nothing else in the universe except this town. You know, it almost has like a Truman Show feel where it's like this town is its own little entity in the world.
It exists outside of time and space.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the characters have like, 80s hairdos. They have like, 80s vintage TVs and like drive old school cars.
Well, it kind of reminds me of that How I Met Your Mother joke about how Canada is like a decade behind everybody else. So like all the pop culture things from the 80s didn't hit till the 90s for Canada.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that rural Idaho is just like, it's a decade or two behind everybody else. Like
Yeah.
what's popular there? Like they're rocking moon boots.
Yeah.
I mean, side ponies. I grew up in a small town. It was very much like that. It was behind the times about that much.
Yeah.
Stuff would hit big elsewhere, and then it's like a slow wave that would crash.
Have you heard about this new thing?
And it's called a Walkman.
It's called a yo-yo.
Chuck, this your cousin Marvin Berry. Well, listen to this.
I think you're going to want to hear this.
So John Hader plays the title character, who is a nerdy, nebbish, off-putting high school student.
Would you say he's titular?
Titular. Mhm.
Much like us?
He is the titular character, who is Napoleon Dynamite was an alter ego for Elvis Costello. Where this comes from. That was one of his like pseudonyms.
Huh.
So, I have here the and see again. I'll weigh on you guys' opinions on this, but Napoleon Dynamite is almost militantly unlikable as a person. He is like
He's an insufferable nerd.
yes,
Not a nerd. Nerds are. So it gets into some of the nomenclature.
Outcast.
Nerds are knowledgeable about certain things. They're very focused on certain topics. He is a dweeb.
Yes,
He is not a nerd.
yes,
He is a dweeb.
Good choice of words.
He's just someone who is just like
Yeah, not a dork.
deserves a wedgie. Like
Yeah,
he's
almost
somehow
invites it. He almost courts that sort of bullying with his attitude.
Yes, he's like it's the awkward phase of puberty personified. It's like you want to be bigger than you are, and so to compensate, you just lie.
Yeah, he's grown up too much too fast, and his brain has not caught up with his body yet.
Yeah, he has like about 2 feet of limbs that just like he doesn't know what to do with.
I mean, he is like the everything awkward and terrible about being a teenager concentrated into one human.
It's just boiled into one character.
In intense, like concentrated form.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that phase where like everyone is all sort of like figured out, you know, what puberty is about. They're starting to get interested in like some more adult themed stuff. He's there physically, just like mentally. He's like
Is it
a few
maybe
years
because
back.
he's like trying out different milks and some that have bleach in them? Maybe
That's just your normal 4-H kind of FFA
It is.
activity.
I will say
That's very normal.
Again, like talking about quoting this film, I often like to use the one who's like, tastes like this one got into an onion patch. Like that one's a staple for me. If and when I can use it, I'm a fan.
I will say that in my town, a lot of the 4-H kids, I think, had probably been drinking bleach. That seemed to be a thing. So they'd been into the Clorox.
And that just happens, you know?
Yeah,
Sometimes milk
you
gets a
do.
little bleachy.
As you do.
That's what you did before Tide Pods.
Cinema Vino is brought to you by Tide Pods.
The bleach milk challenge brought to you by TikTok.
What you'd think, I mean, you could put that stuff in your body and get rid of COVID. You know, you could just ingest that stuff.
There's an episode of Metalocalypse, I don't know if you ever watched it, where they basically like get blood tests and all of their medical results come back that they're incredibly unhealthy. And so as a result, they start talking about like we should just drink bleach and, you know, clean up the insides of our bodies.
Yeah.
And that's the theme of the entire episode.
They put it in pool water, so.
I mean, it
Why not?
makes sense to me.
I pee in pool water.
Actually, you should just
Same.
drink pool water.
I pee in most bodies of water I'm ever in.
Bathtub.
Yeah.
I just take my Aquaman toys with me to the bathtub.
Kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Yeah. A faucet, anywhere, you know.
Bottled water.
Yeah. Storm drains.
I stand outside the shower and just pee into the shower.
I stand outside the shower and pee out of the shower, so
I stand inside the shower and pee outside the shower.
just whatever the mood strikes. Anyway,
Endless combinations, you know.
there are a lot of permutations, a lot of
Permutations.
So Napoleon Dynamite is either alternately bullied or ignored, and he is short-tempered and arrogant. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Lives with his grandmother and his older brother Kip, who seems to be even more awkward and unlikable. He is almost the prototype Napoleon Dynamite.
Your grandmother,
32.
the grandmother who is the Mac's mom in Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah.
I never made that connection until now.
I gotta say, I never watched Always Sunny.
Oh, you should.
I know it was super cool.
It's still on. It's still like a running show.
So Kip spends his days chatting online and pursuing training in martial arts. His dojo is run by a local hothead played by Diedrich Bader, who seems to be the most incompetent sensei this side of Dwight from The Office. The bulk
Not that incompetent. Did you see his pants?
he is patriotic.
That's right.
The bulk of the plot seems to move on just inertia. It just seems to it's like something set in motion and it just kind of coasts for like 100 minutes.
Is there? I guess there is sort
Kind
of
of.
a plot.
again, it's like somebody just kind of, took the story and just kind of gently nudged it into the water and watched it float away.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Napoleon meets Pedro, who is a transfer student from Mexico. Pedro is amiable, blunt, and soft-spoken, and they form an unlikely duo, which results in Pedro running for class president. Is it class president or president of the student body? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Not that it matters.
Doesn't matter.
Grandma gets into a dirt bike accident and
On the sand dunes with her boyfriend.
And so, which causes their sleazy has-been Uncle Rico to move in with them. Rico is 40-ish, still stuck in high school glory that never happened, and spends a lot of the movie checking out his bicep guns that aren't quite there. His toxic masculinity ultimately puts Rico and Napoleon at odds. Napoleon, at the same time, forms an unlikely bond with Deb, played by Tina Majorino, who is a quiet would-be hairstylist and...
I'm sorry, I think you mean the girl from Waterworld.
The girl from Waterworld. And where does all this culminate? In a dance contest, of course, set to Can't Heat by Jamiroquai. So, that's what I have for a summary. So, you guys have both seen this.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm curious. I haven't seen it since it came out on DVD. That's the last time I watched it. So, it's been 20 years.
That's Brown.
20 years ago, look at me.
Don't do it. We have a strict anti-bare naked ladies policy on this podcast.
All right.
This episode brought to you by Bare Naked Ladies.
No nerd rock on this podcast. So, we'll start with Sean. What do you think?
First of all, how old were you guys when this movie came out?
2004. I was 25.
Okay.
I was 20, 21.
Guys, I was 14 years old when this movie came out. And I don't say that to age myself. I say that because
he says that to age us.
I don't think you guys quite understand what this movie was to my generation, because I was in fucking high school. I was a freshman in high school when this movie came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it permeated everything
Yeah.
for a year. Like a year or two, this movie was nonstop quoted. I cannot tell you the cultural significance this had to my age group specifically.
Yeah.
Because there was a 2 to 3 year window where just plus or minus my age was just the target audience for Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
It was quoted nonstop. I don't, like you said, you had the t-shirt. I'm telling you, Napoleon, give me some of your tots.
Yeah.
That shit was said all the time, just during class. Because there's nothing that peak comedy back then was just repeating quotes to each other, just yelling quotes at each other.
Yeah.
This movie is the movie that got quoted the most. So revisiting it was fun because like you said, I haven't really rewatched this. That it's a movie you don't have to rewatch because it got quoted so much.
Yeah.
Right. Like you had most of the movie just locked in. I mean, I don't even need to watch it to give you all the Tina, eat your food.
It was some dinner.
Was that a llama or an alpaca?
I think it was a llama.
I had that
Alpacas
shirt
are
too.
furrier.
I had the blue shirt that said, "Teeny, you fat lard, come get some dinner."
Tina, you fat lord.
I spent a lot of time at Hot Topic.
Oh yeah, 100%. I did too because I was 14 years old. Travis.
Oh, I was much older, so weird.
If you guys are playing the drinking game when Sean says how much younger he is and all the rest of us drink.
Wow.
I can't express how different this movie had to have been for me versus your age group because this was a movie targeted to awkward high school kids, right?
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know. It's hard to describe this, and like Homestar Runner, I think
I enjoyed Homestar Runner.
we're both kind of in like the same stratosphere of like quotes that got thrown around a lot in school.
I think I'm going to start like kind of slowly bringing my oldest son into Homestar Runner. I'm going to start like easing him into it. I think he would enjoy it.
The strong bad emails and
I gotta
that.
say, like, at least 60 to 70% of my high school conversations were just movie quotes.
Yeah.
Like that's all. It was our shorthand.
And we're going to hit one of those at least with the Ghostbusters coming up soon. And maybe another one with Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
So there's going to be, and maybe even Blazing Saddles. There's definitely going to be some quotes in there too.
yeah. So I mean, as far as the quality of this movie, I can't honestly give this a rating. I can't give this a valid rating that's not tainted by some heavy
Heavy nostalgia.
nostalgia. But given that, I'd give this a 7.5. I'd give it an 8. You know, it's such a weird, like Wes Anderson-esque, like just bizarre slice of life of like this weird corner of Americana. I don't know. It's just like, nothing like this has ever come out since or before.
It's its own vibe.
It really is. It's just like this
Quirky, self-contained
Universe.
That's exact. Travis, thank you. You took the word right out. It's quirky, self-contained universe.
He never said quirky. I think I added that.
If you just want to borrow this, you can go ahead and just have a look.
But you know, I
Takes
give it
place
an
in its own weird, self-contained universe. Sorry, weird.
eight. Not quirky. It is.
But you know
quirky,
what?
though.
I think it would have been better if you would use the word quirky.
I know. So
But I
live
mean,
and learn.
This it's a champion movie of the downtrodden. You know.
And we'll debate that in a second, whether or not it's a champion movie or whether I have my own thoughts. But again, I'm looking at it from a different angle. Someone who's,
Sure.
you know, was old when it came out.
You're how many, 11 years older? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give this an 8.
Jabby?
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm at a 7.5, I believe. But I went and saw this with Taylor Ulysses Owens, and we didn't know. I think we had seen, obviously, some trailers. We knew it was going to be weird and kind of offbeat. And I think, you know, we were watching it for a little bit, and we were like, what the fuck is this? And I think it wasn't until, like... And there have got to be. I don't laugh out loud often, like in movies. There's not, you know, many where I'm like doubled over, guffawing, cannot breathe.
Yeah,
it's. I know it's Richie and Taylor's favorite thing is when I finally get got because I can't breathe, and then I have to stop anything I'm doing and wave down the flags. Napoleon Dynamite got that for me. And I remember exactly because I watched it again and I texted Taylor after I saw that the scene. It is right after good old, what's her name? Oh, Hillary Duff's sister, Haley Duff. Whenever Pedro has asked her out to the dance, and she comes up to Napoleon playing tetherball and is like, hands him the note. And it says,
no.
The answer is no. It is the very next scene. Napoleon is standing in front of a locker. His bully walks by and just checks him into the locker so fucking hard and then keeps walking. I saw that and I was gone. And then I couldn't even register. I was like, oh my God. And then right after, the super delayed response of Napoleon going, oh, and then trying to kick after him. Like, I would have been able to catch my breath, but like, no, I was done after that. I was like, holy fucking shit. This is the best part of the fucking movie. And it's the main part I remember.
Yeah.
Like, I quote it endlessly. But that part, Taylor was like, oh my God, Travis, are you okay? And then I was trying to be quiet in the theater for other people, but I was like, all of a sudden, that part just hit me so well. And when those moments happen, like, I never forget them. I was like, oh my God, every time I watch this movie afterwards, I'm gone.
Yeah.
But watching it this time, just... So we had been sitting there watching it and being like, okay, this is kind of fucking weird. Like, I don't know if I like this yet. But kind of enjoying it, but rewatching it again. And I've seen this movie, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 times, I want to say. But watching it again, the very first scene you see of Napoleon is that he hops on and there's that random kid who's like, what are you going to do to Napoleon? And he's like, whatever I want, God. But the part that caught me this time is that he opens his Trapper Keeper and he's got his little action figure.
With the fishing line?
Yeah. And you don't know what he's doing.
Puts the arms
He throws it. Yeah. He puts his arms up and he throws it outside the window and he's just... It's like kiting it behind him, which that's hilarious in and of itself. The part that got me this time, though, was I'm like, man, that is a lot of spool of fishing line. This was hardcore premeditated. It was just the fact that it existed and how premeditated and well wound it was.
I just love the amount of effort that clearly goes into everything that Napoleon does.
Yes.
For it to be such a catastrophic failure. Like the amount of line that he clearly put on it and wrapped around it, for it to just like drag behind the bus by like a good like 50 feet.
And you never find out, like, was he trying to get this?
Did he want it to like fly? Like it was cool?
Did he want it to look like well worn or something? Was he trying to make it look rough and tough? Even
I think he wanted it to look like it was flying and just like put his arms up.
Oh, that's true. I can see that. I love even the opening fucking credits of this film and all the
condiments written
and all
on the burgers.
Condiments. Yeah. Like even that was great. It kind of gets you started to know it's like, all right, this movie's going to be fucking weird. So just strap in and get ready.
Also very Wes Anderson-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But no, after that, I was the only parts that didn't quite get me was the popular girls, Haley Duff's, her boyfriend, all of his facial expressions and like a little bit over
2004 jock.
Yeah, I don't know if that was supposed to be part of the aesthetic, is that he was just kind of over the top or whatever.
Yeah.
But anytime they have him on screen or he's doing his facial expressions or mannerisms, I'm just like, oh my God. Especially when he's clapping at the end when she's doing her cheerleading dance or whatever for president. I'm just, none of him on the screen for me is good. He is the weakest actor in the bunch. But fucking Uncle Rico was in Fright Night Part 2.
Yes.
He was also
the werewolf.
He was also the Wolfman in Monster Squad.
I just put all
and
that
he was
together.
also in Real Genius. Like,
I think we talked about this when we did Fright Night Part 2.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that was fucking Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
But I keep wanting to, that
It all ties back to Fright Night.
Every podcast is somebody's first podcast listening to us, so they don't know these things. I just want to add in. He was in Real Genius. He was the crazy outcast guy in the in Val Kilmer's basement or something in that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's John Grease or John Grise, whatever it is.
Grease, I believe.
And he was in for the kids out there. He was in White Lotus. He was Jennifer Coolidge's beau or husband. Yeah. In season 1 and 2 in White Lotus. But anyway,
so cool.
I fucking love that dude. And if he's listening, I fucking love you.
Hey, come on the pod. We'll have you.
Don't come on this pod, but we love you.
Don't come near us.
Yeah. Don't come on this pod. Come on my pod. My pod.
Yeah, baby.
Kip.
Come on, your what?
Pod.
Kip in this was excellent. Another excellent little tiny mustache.
Very tiny mustache.
And
great use of mustaches in this movie.
And LaFonda.
LaFonda was great.
Especially after she started giving him a chain and having him try. I just loved him near the end, waiting at the bus station, trying out some of his moves in his new gear. Did you guys watch the after credits scene?
Not this time.
Okay.
No.
The wedding of Kip and LaFonda?
No.
And I don't know. I didn't check this, but I don't know if that was in the first run of Napoleon Dynamite. I think maybe they added in that scene after they were like, oh my God, we're making pretty good money. And they added the scene in later. I could be a fucking liar, but there's an after credit scene that is pretty money as well.
It would make sense.
Yeah. It was great. So this, at least for me, Efren Ramirez in this was great. Let me see. Who else? Tina Majorino as Deb. The music was great in this. The old 80s stuff. The who sings the "We Were Gonna Be Friends" the song in the beginning?
I don't remember. That's one of those 2000.
And then the end
It's
song,
Jack Johnson or
not quite Jack Johnson. That was the Fray or something.
and then whatever the end song is, where he's playing tetherball with Deb, and then obviously Jamiroquai for the
Candy.
the super dance moves.
Is it the White Stripes?
No, it's not the White. No.
Are you sure?
No.
It's not like a Raconteurs, White Stripes, Jack White kind of thing?
No, it's similar genre.
I'd look it up, but my phone's over there.
Yeah.
We'll put Travie on that. What would you give this, Trav?
It is a 7.5 for me. It's solid. This is great. It's a great film for me. And maybe with a nostalgia bump, it would be an 8 for me. Solid. It's not right now. I don't think it would be a movie I would watch super often, but I've already seen it 5 or 6 times.
It's like, just such a lightning in a bottle movie that I don't think anybody can ever replicate it, and I don't think it would have been good at a different time period at any like if it had been released in any other environment.
The reason we've seen it so many times too is that is obviously this was before streaming, and then Taylor and I roomed together in Norman, and we did not pay for television, so we had like whatever the university channel was
DVD rotation.
Yeah, so this was hardcore DVD rotation, and we'd just pop it in, and
this and Super Troopers.
Yeah, this Super Troopers. I got Taylor to finally watch the extended Lord of the Rings there, and turned him into a semi nerd. So basically, it's because of me that Taylor's in this podcast. I'm going to take that.
Yeah, no, you earned it. Take it.
Actually, no, that's not true, because he got into film nerdery, but I helped him get into nerdery of film. There we go.
You nudged him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say that I haven't seen this since 2004.
Would you say that this is like a weird self-contained universe?
Yeah, it definitely exists in its own world.
Okay.
I did not enjoy it as much as you guys did. The rewatching it.
Yeah.
It's sour.
Do you remember rewatching it in 2004 and enjoying it?
I enjoyed it more then, I would say. I laughed more then. Now, it's difficult for me to think of this as anything other than like, this will sound weird, but like a deconstruction of the teen movie.
Yeah.
This is an ironic deconstruction of every teen cliche.
It's just like Dadaism. It's like a weird, like,
it's like every trope, but like we're going to take an ironic deconstructionist stance at like,
it's absurdist.
Napoleon is going to be your typical teen dork. We're not going to reform him into somebody cool. He's not going to have a heart of gold. He's still going to be a dork at the end of the movie. It's like your bullies are going to be your over the top crazy bullies. It's like every single, the popular girls, they're not going to turn out to be, get their comeuppance. They're not going to yada, yada, yada. It's like, we're going to take every cliche and turn it on its head.
Well, the popular girl kind of did, because Pedro won the presidency.
Yeah. But to me,
and then we don't see the bully again after Pedro's like cousins like bully him.
True.
I mean, Napoleon does the dance that wins Pedro the thing. Everybody stands up and claps.
Yeah.
And he gets the girl to play tetherball with him at all. He's like, "You want to play me?" She's like, "Yeah." He finally gets somebody to play him.
And even that seems like it's almost like that Fear Victor. It's like he's playing tetherball. It's like, but he's not like, it's not the big gooey, like, Sixpence None the Richer finale of the movie.
Bitch, it's the White Stripes.
Is it?
We're Gonna Be Friends by the White Stripes.
Really?
First song. Yep.
I am shocked.
Huh. Gotcha, bitch.
What's the end song?
Good job.
Gotcha, bitch. So what?
What's the end song?
Really? That's fascinating.
I don't know. It's kind of out of order because there's like
is it?
There's the track listing and then there's other songs.
What was the American Pie one? It's like, so basically my thing was like, it's like we're going to take Napoleon and we're going to make him unlikable, and he's going to stay unlikable pretty much all the way through. Maybe you root for him, maybe you don't. It's like, that's been my mystery with the Coen Brothers movies, for example. It's like, are we supposed to laugh with these characters or laugh at them? I can't quite tell. It's like Napoleon's dancing on stage. It's like, is it funny? Are we laughing with Napoleon? Are we in on the joke?
You genuinely don't know how the crowd's going to react, because in the movie, you're thinking, this is super awkward. But then it gets like a really like resounding positive reaction.
Yeah. And usually in those situations in the classic teen movie, it's like the crowd slowly comes around and starts like chanting or clapping, or they pick up momentum. This comes out of nowhere. Everything about it is like kind of a middle finger to like the typical teen movie.
Yeah.
To me, all the tropes.
Well, that's why I was saying it's kind of like a champion of the bullied,
And to me, it's like I can't tell if it's a champion of the bullied or it's just an ironic take on everything that you see in every movie.
I feel like Revenge of the Nerds did it better as like a much more on the nose what Revenge of the Nerds was. But this was sort of like the
Revenge of the Dweebs.
Yeah, it's Revenge of the Dweebs. It was like the 2004 version of like the upheaval of the social status of high school of these kids that clearly like are super awkward and just like are never going to make
I know
make a
this
lot of
kid.
friends.
He-
We all know this kid.
He went to like the urinal in the boys' bathroom and did like the pants around his ankle little boy pee for way longer than he should have. Like everybody was like walking in like, damn Napoleon, pull your pants up, dude.
It like always wore cargo jorts for way too long.
Why are you attacking me?
I said cargo jorts.
Oh,
Specifically
jorts.
the jean shorts with cargo pockets.
Oh, I'm a fan of the khakis.
Well, yeah, the khakis are fine. Those are timeless.
I would say for me, this is a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10 is fair. I think that's fair.
I think he got it.
Did he? Good.
The cat may have gotten the bug. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow,
Don't be alarmed now.
the mayfly. Sorry, not
There's
me.
been-
It's just a spring clean for the May Queen.
I'll have to bleep that out because Zeppelin's going to come after.
Can we not use that? Not even like a free
Robert
5
Plant's
seconds?
militant about
Robert Plant, come on the podcast.
Yeah. Bring your mandolin. It's been another episode of Cinema Vino.
Oh, so what was your score?
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Okay, 5.
5 out of 10. You gave it a 7.5?
7. Yeah,
Maybe like what? Did I give it an 8?
You gave it a 7.5, maybe 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's a slice of time movie. You can't replicate it.
Yeah.
It can't be repeated. I don't know. It's just like a weird.
Yeah, I
It's
quote
lightning
it
in a
again
bottle.
all the time, and I use the GIF all the time of the couple that Uncle Rico's trying to sell the Tupperware to. The gal that's like, I want that. I want that. Like that. That's in my regular
Try to rip
rotation.
this.
Yeah, he's like I can't.
I like
He's
that
so
he, like,
disappointed.
He adjusts his sleeves like that's gonna
Yeah.
like free up his arms.
His wife is so disappointed. I'm like, oh, he's like, I can't do it.
Which like what like a model clipper ship? Like why is that a prize?
When I know Taylor's one of his favorite quotes was after Napoleon gets done working at the chicken farm. It's like $6. That's like $1 an hour.
It's like $1 an hour.
That's one of his favorite quotes. But
Yep,
their
forgot my-
food,
forgot
they
my
just get-
checkbook.
They get fly
You're paying
colored
change.
Covered sandwich.
fly covered sandwiches and orange juice with an egg cracked in it, and a
Is
whole
it
bunch of
orange juice?
hard boiled
We
eggs.
don't even know
you
that
want a
it's
protein.
orange juice.
You want a protein.
It was probably Tang. That's right.
That's right.
Egg tang.
Egg Tang. I'm guessing this movie is maybe 95, 96. I don't know. But Kip is
The setting.
is 32.
Yeah.
We know that. And then Uncle Rico, got to be their uncle.
He's in his
So I
40s.
don't know.
That's
maybe.
40-ish. Yeah.
But they're still paying for internet
It's just
by the minute.
it's so hard to tell if this is 96, 97-ish,
Yeah.
or if it's
It
just
feels
like
80s.
2004 but in Idaho.
Yeah, there's a lot of 80s music during their dances, and then Deb's like sideways
Side
ponytail,
pony,
and the
There was a trapper keeper in here too, I believe.
Trapper keeper.
Yeah.
No one at any point referenced like the hot run that the Bulls were on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true.
I feel like that kind of puts it outside of the 90,
Not a cell phone
95
in the
to
bunch.
98 range.
And Uncle Rico's a sweet van.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That was a sweet van.
As seen on Forensic Files.
I still can't believe he was able to throw that steak. You know,
That was
it
impressive.
was a good steak throw.
Make yourself a dang quesadilla.
Can't say this movie didn't have stakes.
Make yourself a dang quesadilla.
So anyway, this has been another episode of Cinema Vino. Well, thank you guys very much. Great movies, Only Drunker, Sean Jordan,
Hey,
Travis Budd.
what are we doing next week? What's next?
Next week will be Pulp Fiction.
Hey,
So
nice.
be strong. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.